everyone, and welcome to Tiger on the Block, the only podcast that takes collegiate a cappella members and makes them really uncomfortable for 30 minutes. I'm Tony like the tiger, Voss like the water.
And I'm Jessica Block. Fax me. You can't see it, but I just winked.
All right. So, the last episode, it was a little goof, a little joke.
But now we're back and more serious than ever.
That's right. This ain't your grandma's a cappella podcast.
Yeah, it's my grandma's a cappella podcast.
What?
Oh, she listens to this. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Jessica's grandma. Anyway, we're gonna get into all the a cappella topics, both the nitty and the gritty.
And the witty?
No, this is a serious podcast for serious a cappella connoisseurs.
La crème de la crème of the podcast.
The top of the top.
The banana de banana.
Berry.
Baguette.
Jessica, who do we have in the studio?
We have we have YOUTHphonics from UCLA.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? Oh,
This UCLA co-ed a cappella group is unique in that their focus is not on competition, but on community service and music education.
They performed multiple times in CAF, Dance Marathon, and Disneyland, and host UCLA's famous Acapalooza concert every year.
We got two members here in the studio today. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you are and where you're from.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Keppel. I'm going to be a third-year electrical engineering student at UCLA, and I'm from Burbank, California.
Hi, I'm Jesse Brandt. I am from Davis, California. I'm a poli-sci major, unfortunately, and I'm going into my fourth and final year at UCLA.
So sad. We all want to stay at UCLA forever. Just kidding, that would probably not be great, but it's fun for a while. All right, let's get into some questions. Our first question for you guys is kind of broad, but we love to hear how different people all arrived at this same very specific extracurricular activity. So without further ado, how did you guys get into music and a cappella? Just your whole experience getting into music, like growing up, but also how'd you get into a cappella at college?
Yeah, so when I was going through middle school, I loved to sing, and then I joined the show choir we had at our middle school, and I just really loved it, and that carried over into being all 4 years at my high school show choir. And then from that, I was like, yeah, I know I want to continue doing music in college. So I was looking into the various a cappella groups and just very conflicted because there were so many. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know what to choose. But as I was just going through the groups to audition, I noticed that YOUTHphonics had a community service aspect. And that was super important to me because I had also done a lot of community service in high school. So I thought it was a way for me to get the best of both worlds. And lucky me, I got in, and I'm very glad to be a part of the group now.
I did band in high school, not choir. I played the trombone, and I also played the piano from a pretty young age. I was in a ton of jazz bands. And I wasn't planning on doing a cappella in college until my friend who went to another college joined an a cappella group, because this was the friend that was sometimes better than me at beatboxing, and then I would improve, and then he would improve, and we were kind of a little competitive. And I realized that if he was in an a cappella group and I was not in an a cappella group, he would just be better than me forever. So I realized that I had to join an a cappella group, and so I did.
There you go. That is definitely a unique story, not one we've heard so thus far on this podcast.
So our next question is, Taylor, you talked about this a little bit already, but what attracted you to YOUTHphonics a cappella specifically, or if you want to get into it, maybe something that you discovered while being within YOUTHphonics that you've come to really love and find that's really special?
Yeah, so when I auditioned, I was just okay, it's a community service group, that's very important to me, and that's super cool. But actually what I really found out was the Fairfax program that we do, and just being able to work with high schoolers and teach them more about music theory. And that's just really special to me, to have an impact on other high school students lives through music and music education, because that had such a huge impact on mine. So being a part of YOUTHphonics really helps you. It helped me know that I'm making a difference in these high schoolers' lives?
This is such a hard question. See, the problem is that, like, I mean, I wasn't really thinking that hard about what group I wanted to join. I just kind of, like, auditioned for some and then ended up in YP. What surprised me was how bad music education is, how underfunded it is, that there's a school that doesn't have a choir program, so it's just us replacing their whole choir program. And a ton of their music stuff got cut. And what surprised me was just how bad that is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really cool that Youthphonics is trying to do something about that, and that they're helping this school to have a music program where they wouldn't ordinarily have the funds to do so. But I think it's surprising if you grew up in a place where, there was a choir, there was a band, there was an orchestra, or like one of the three even. Not even all of them, but even if you had one, it's surprising that there'd be a place that maybe doesn't have that at all. And so it's really cool that you guys are going through and making, I guess, a place that wouldn't usually have that, making a place for people who love music to go and to cherish it and to be around like-minded people. So that's really awesome.
I think what I realized was we're fulfilling this need that I didn't even know existed. Like, I was aware of underfunding, but it wasn't really close to my life. Because I had just grown up with so much music available to me that I didn't realize the impact of this.
Right. And it's also like, it's easy to take this kind of thing for granted too, like to have all that music available and then to see places where that's just not a possibility, and then to be able to make it a possibility. It's just really cool.
Yeah. It's hard because you hear of things, but you never really know the extent until you're there, and you really there's something about that, and what you guys are doing is phenomenal work, which I think leads us right into the next thing, Jess.
Yeah, so that really does lead us to our next question really well, because what we want to ask you guys is for, I guess, more specifics, because a lot of people don't know exactly what Youthphonics does. We know you're a community service organization, but we don't necessarily know what exactly you do. So if you guys could describe exactly what your group does to help Fairfax and why that's so important, as well as just anything you've learned or any takeaways from the experience that maybe you weren't expecting that happened to come along as you worked with these kids.
Yeah, so I think the specifics of the main program we do, so we're a community service group, and we do a bit more than just Fairfax. We caroled at Ronald Reagan during the hospital last year, and our fall concert also served as a food drive, but Fairfax is definitely the main program we run. And what we do is every Friday we go over to Fairfax High School and we teach as a part of their after-school program. They get some course credits for this, but basically what we do is we just teach them some arrangements we have, and then teach them music theories starting from the basic and starting to get more advanced as the year goes on. Obviously the kind of shift to online happened pretty suddenly. So during last quarter, we did pre-recorded videos on music theory, and also just some lessons just on music in general. So one of our members did a song writing lesson for them, which they just recorded themselves doing a video teaching them about basics of songwriting, and we are trying to extend that idea for next quarter, since it's also going to be online, and so how we can continue to educate on music education and just music as a whole with stylized singing, just history of music. And yeah, we're just trying to make it a very comprehensive music education course.
To add to that, essentially Fairfax is the central element of Youthphonics. That's our primary outlet for community service. We bring the Fairfax students to our concerts. We go there every Friday, but in addition to that, we define ourselves more broadly as a community service group. So it's not just that we exist to help Fairfax, but also we try to weave community service into everything that we do. For example, our fall concert every year, we just kind of add a can drive on there, and we collect cans for LA Food Bank. Aca-palooza, we host, but we have a bunch of community service groups use it as a promo. so we can help the broader community service community at UCLA.
Awesome. Well, we'll be touching a little bit later about Acapalooza, but this is all like phenomenal stuff that you guys are out here doing. And I wanted to ask you guys about, I know that teaching and mentorship isn't just a one-way thing. You often receive as much as you give. And so if you were to nail down your favorite moments working with students, either it's something that you've taken away from those experiences or just like this was like the funnest time that we had working out in our community and making a difference.
I think every time that I've gone to teach at Fairfax has just been like a really fun time, like because you really get to like, we play games with the students, and then just to like help them learn music is really fun, and to like see them grow throughout the program, it's really cool. But I think it all really like culminates when we have them over for our Acapalooza and for like our final concert in spring, because they get to see the product of their work and they get to see us perform, and that really like strikes a chord with a lot of them. I remember that like a few of them were crying after like Acapalooza, and they were just like, this is fantastic, like thank you so much. And that just like really like made me feel all nice and warm inside, and like I was really glad to see that they enjoyed it so much, and to like be there for that. It's just that was fantastic. It's something that keeps me with YP, I think.
Strike a chord with them, pun intended.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to meet all the Fairfax students and get to know them as individuals. And, you know, there are always cool things to learn about everyone. For example, we had a student who, he didn't have a formal musical background. He didn't know a lot of music theory or singing, but he was really good at playing the piano. And basically, he just learned to play by ear all the songs that he heard in anime. And he was like really, really good, and it sounded really cool. And I don't know anything about anime, but this kid did, and he sounded awesome.
I want to meet this kid.
Our next question for you guys is, I mean, it's kind of unrelated to what the stuff we've been talking about, but it's definitely related to acapella, and for sure related to just like the experience as a whole of being in an a cappella group in college. We know your group does a lot of community service, we know you do a lot of performing, but we also would love to hear about your guys' potential social outings. What do you do for fun? Do you have any traditions that you like to hold as a group? Just like what makes you like Youthphonics, like your group's personality, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that I have a lot to say about this since I was the social chair for the group last year. And what we try and do is every quarter we try and have like a social that all of the group attends. And what we would do is like just like many different locations. Like in fall we had a day trip to the beach, and it was just like lots of fun activities we planned. Like we did like kind of like a relay race between like members of the group, and that was really fun. And we had like a dance off to determine who won, like a sand castle building contest. And then in winter, we went up to Big Bear for a retreat. So that was really fun. And then we also just like to, you know, participate in all the UCLA a cappella traditions that exist. But yeah, you know, also mini socials we have. Like we just had like a boba run, like at the beginning of winter, just because, you know, like who doesn't love boba? I mean, some people don't, but we don't talk about them. They don't exist to me. But
yeah, YP does a lot of social stuff, and you know, there's a lot of different kinds of stuff. There's a lot of different kinds of people, but overall, the vibe is often really I don't know how to say this. It's affectionate. Like I'm not normally a very like sentimental person, but in this group, you know, I've had a lot more opportunities to like communicate about emotions and stuff. And you know, it's been very interesting being part of a group like this. One weird example is that on one of our retreats where we were in Big Bear, a couple of the senior members went out and they bought everyone a little rock that represented them, like from a gift shop kind of thing. And they were just like, you know, the vibe of this rock is this person. And I didn't get it at all, but everyone was super into it. They were like, the vein of gray in this rock represents something.
That's so cute.
Honestly, yeah, it was great. It was cute. I didn't really get it, but I was very glad I got to be a part of it.
I love those kinds of things.
We are a very sentimental group. Like, also at the past, like, winter retreat, we wrote, like, affirmative messages for, like, people in the groups just to, like, describe how we feel about them. And I still have, like, the messages that, like, people sent to me. They don't say who's they're from, but, like, it was just really nice to hear, like, all the nice things that we thought about the other people in the group. And it is just, like, it's a really great group, and it is where I've met, like, some of my lifelong friends. So 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, that's so, like, I love how you guys cultivate this uplifting spirit with everything that your group does. It's phenomenal. I'd like to talk about something that you do on the UCLA campus. Here at Tiger on the Block, we've actually talked to a lot of groups from UCLA. And one of the things that keep coming up is Acapalooza. We actually listened to a recording of it in episode 5. Was that Awaken Acapella with Toby and Zev?
Yes.
I think so.
Good memory.
I had it pulled up in a tab. We've never had the opportunity to, like, really explain Acapalooza. And so who better than the group who hosts it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pretty much what Acapalooza is, it's a big festival of UCLA acapella groups and UCLA community service groups where we just invite, I want to say, around 8 acapella groups and 8 community service groups to give performances. And it's just really neat to see all these performances, but then also the greater kind of, like, emphasis on the festival is that these community service groups can, like, participate and gain new members through presentations of what they do. And yeah, anyone is welcome to come. Lots of my friends have supported by watching, and they've really enjoyed the event. Just this past year, we had the UCLA Lab School also perform, and that was really cute. They were so excited to be there, and they sang Roar by Katy Perry, and everyone was just in awe. That was a big moment, and it's just super fun. It's super fun that we're able to bring our Fairfax kids to perform with us the keynotes, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun to see all the fellow UCLA acapella groups.
Taylor, covered most of it about what the event is, but I think it's a really good opportunity for all of the UCLA acapella groups to come together as a community and sing. And everyone supports each other. When any of the groups do something cool, everyone's cheering. Everyone was going wild for the UCLA Lab School. Bunch of little kids singing Roar, and everyone was just, like, losing their minds. So I think it's a really cool event because we get to bring so much of the acapella community together.
Having been to Acapalooza with Pitch Please, it's like the atmosphere is electric because everyone just cares so much about music and acapella and, like, each other that it just feels extremely supportive. And as you guys were saying, when everyone, like, screams every time someone does anything remotely cool, it's so cool to just watch, like, the high school kids watching, like, see this entire community of people who love music. Because I think it's probably really inspiring to some kids who maybe don't have that much of a music program at their school, except for you guys coming in and helping them, to see, like, over 100 people in one room just all cherishing the thing that they all have together. And so I love that you guys put this together, and I love the atmosphere every single year because it really does just bring together, like, the thought of helping others with music and just smashes them together into one beautiful event.
All those things just, like, fit together really well. And I think, the community service and the education and the community and music, they're just kind of meant to be together.
Yeah, and I think your group does an amazing job of, like, bringing them together. For kids who may not necessarily have the opportunity to experience all those things at once. And I think that's really important. Which does bring us to our next question. May take you guys a minute to think. May not. Depends. But what this is a very broad question asking you, what is your favorite a cappella moment thus far? That moment where you were just standing there on stage or in the group, in a random house for retreat, or just in a rehearsal. That moment where you thought, like, damn, this is it. This is wonderful.
My favorite moment, and there have been moments like this throughout the years, but my favorite moment was probably just this year at Acapalooza when we were performing, because I really love performing, and we sang How Do You Sleep, and it was really cool. There's just some chords in there that are like, yeah, they're cool, and I like how they sound, and I really like being part of like something that sounds cool, and there's a lot of like energy in the room, and everyone's like, yeah, that sounds cool.
There's definitely like a certain energy that comes with standing in a group of people singing an amazing chord and like being a part of it.
Yes. That's
that one.
It.
Got it.
I think for me, after a lot of thinking, I think it boils down to my freshman year, right at the end of our final concert, which was our last performance of the year. And just like when we took our final bow, I was like, wow, this is it. Like that was all of our work like in the entire year, like piled up, and we took a group picture with the Fairfax kids, and it was great just like to have, like freshman year, like to be a part of a group that's like super wonderful. And like it was definitely like kind of like a reflection not on just like the work put in, but just like how much I've grown and like become a better person because of YP.
That's a super nice sentiment, and I was actually, I think, there at that concert, and it was a good one. I really enjoyed it. I love the vibe of your guys' concerts, because there are jokey a cappella concerts, there are serious a cappella concerts, and your guys' they just generally feel good. Like you're there, and it's just a very happy, like warm, familial atmosphere. Like whether or not you're in the group, whether or not you're even singing in the concert, like if you're in the audience, it just feels good to watch.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, no, I mean that truly from the bottom of my heart. Youthphonics is just top-notch vibes, honestly.
Wait, can we put that in our can we put top-notch vibes in our thing on that website? The UCLA Acapella website?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. And quote, and then just Tiger on the Block.
That is an amazing...
Tiger on the Block.
Yeah, we'll do it. That's...
I agree.
Incredible.
Oh, Jess, will you look at the time?
I can. I just did.
Awesome. Well, then that means you must know that we're moving on to our latest segment. Let me welcome you both to Music Notes. This is a part of our show where we take a look back at a past performance of the group and talk a little bit about the preparation that went into it, how it felt to perform live, and what it feels like to look back at it now. We're bringing it back to Acapalooza, looking at How Do You Sleep, featuring soloist Ginny Yao. Let's check it out. Very cool. All right, so listening back, why don't you guys share with us a couple of your first thoughts, your visceral reactions, as I have been famously quoted in this podcast saying. But yeah, looking back, how does it feel?
I really I don't know if it's the recording or if it's just like how it sounded from the audience, but like the bass I really like the sound of that because it's like really loud, and like, I don't know if that's like good, like mix wise or whatever, but I think it sounds really cool. And I think our
Always bumping.
bass on the mic there, Luke, is doing a really good job, because it was a lot harder to hear that from the stage. The monitors don't have quite the punch from the bass hitting the subwoofer or whatever. And I really like the sound. And what's interesting to me thinking about this song is that I don't even do anything interesting on the song. Like, as the beatboxer, I'm just kind of going psh, psh, and like, that's fine. Like, that's still one of my favorite songs to perform, because just the vibe and like all the cool parts and the overall product. I like how in that song I get to be part of a coherent whole, and my part on its own is not interesting. But what makes it good, and what's cool about a cappella, is that when everything comes together, then it's actually really cool. And as a beatboxer, like a cappella, I most of the time just do a small fraction of the sounds I can make with my mouth and all the stuff that I can do. But sometimes, like, that's just what you need to.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Like, sometimes, especially in a song like How Do You Sleep, or in your guys' arrangement specifically, like, the star of the show is those chords and like the soloist's awesome voice. Like, Ginny sounded so good. And then you're just in there adding that, like, it's almost like adding spices. It's like adding flavor and little like zings here and there to just enhance what the voices are doing. And I think you're right. Sometimes, like, that's what you need. That's what you want.
I talk about participating in the cool chords, and I'm not even singing. I'm just going shh.
That counts, though. It does make them sound more, I don't know, it gives them a little bit of officiality almost. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
It should
Jessica
be.
with the cooking metaphors.
It is now.
I was about to call you Salt Bay, and then I was like, I won't go there, but I just did, so it's fine.
Oh, no. Anyway, we love descriptive linguistics.
We love.
For me, when I was listening over it, really just reminded me of like the genius of the arrangement, of how like Luke and Blaze, who are also in Youthphonics, like co-made that arrangement, and we listened to it the first time back in like early January, and we were like, wow, this is like fantastic. And how we actually had a lot of choreo to that song because we were going to perform it at Dance Marathon back when everything was in person, but obviously we never got to do that. So there's lots of memories of me, like, of us like messing up the choreo completely up in Big Bear when we were practicing it, and that's always fun to reflect back on. But yeah, it was just a lot of work that went into that song because it was a lot of our audition songs, and like to perform it at Acapalooza and to have it sound like all the chords sound complete and everything, that was really satisfying for me. And yeah, it was really great because like I think the song, like, it was definitely hard for me to sing as a tenor because like there's some pretty high notes as a tenor, but I was just like astounded by like the group's talent again, because you had like Ginny as the amazing soloist, and the bass section was going crazy, and the soprano section was going crazy, and I was like, wow, this group is really talented. And yeah, that's just all my memories I have with that song. I think we even sang it up at Big Bear for like some like Girl Scouts, and they like filmed us, and they're like, that was so amazing, thank you so much. And then we bought like 50 boxes.
We love it when community service organizations collaborate.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you guys could reflect a little bit upon not only being performers at that event, but also being hosts, and what that experience was like, either just from collecting the different organizations and a cappella groups to being there on the day and showing up and showing out.
To organize the event, that was a lot of work, lots of stress. Even on the day of the event, there was like, I was running back and forth with sound checks. Our presidents were like making sure everything was right while we were still like making sure the lab school was handling like well, and that all of our Fairfax students we were playing games with them, showing them the campus, and just like that was a whole day activity. But then to see all the other groups perform, it also just reminded me of the talent at UCLA, and it was really cool to see that like all these a cappella groups were putting in like so much work too, and to really hear some great arrangements like from Pitch Please and from Scattertones and Be Harm and Signature, just to name a couple of the groups at Acapalooza. It was really great to see them perform, and our high schoolers really liked most of the groups. They were kind of talking to us about all the performances like the next time we met up, and
It's so cool.
yeah.
I want to re-emphasize that for us, this is an all-day event. So, we get there early in the day, and then we bring the Fairfax students so we can give them a tour of UCLA campus and stuff like that. And, we like eat dinner. So for us, it's like, it's an all-day event, and like the performances are like, they're the release valve of all this, the pressure build up, because there's a lot of organizing to do. Like, even something as simple as like getting water for the lobby, we have to like get funding to get water, and we have the funding people pay the people who provide it's a lot of work, and our presidents were in charge of handling it, and they were dead.
Well, as a performer and an attendee, I can assure you that all of your hard work paid off in just a spectacular display of talent, of affection, of like coming together.
And of organization. It looked like it was running very smoothly, and it was. So that's always nice. Because I know, as someone who's run large performances before, like, you're like internally like super stressed out, and you're like, okay, the next person has to go. Oh my gosh, I have to make sure this is happening. But then the audience gets to just enjoy it. And as someone who sat in the audience of that, of your guys' show specifically, it definitely seems very smooth and it seems effortless, which is what you want.
There was a moment when like the room was packed and it was overfilled, and it was like it was cool because it was all hype, but I think we found out that you can't have people standing because it's a fire hazard or something. It all worked out, and it was cool to have a packed crowd for that part, but it was very stressful from the other end.
Yeah, it was crazy how like even as the performance started, we were still like, what are we gonna do? So it all worked out and it all settled in, but it was definitely hectic, and I'm glad it all worked out. I mean, in my mind I knew it would, but it was still like crazy to like see like all the work,
Yeah.
and then the payoff.
The oldest enemy of performance art, the fire marshal.
But also a friend at times.
Also a friend.
Mixture
When we needed them most.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have a game for you all to play, but before we get into that, we would like to thank our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by eggs. I didn't prepare a joke, I just thought I'd take a crack at it.
And by kumquats, oranges and grapes' illegitimate son.
All right, so for today, we have Youthphonics Mnemonics. It's a reflavoring of a previous game that we have. Jessica, would you like to explain what we're really doing?
Yeah, so this game basically has nothing to do with the name. We just liked the rhyme. What happens is we give you a word and you have 10 seconds to sing a song that has that lyric, that word in it. Specifically, the part of the song that does have that lyric. Whoever of our guests gets the most points wins. And that's pretty much it. It is basically song association, but we just wanted to make the name rhyme. If you really want it to work and you're mad at us for it not working, here's where you can put your mind so that the name makes sense. Mnemonics help you remember stuff. And so we're gonna give them a word, and that word will help them remember a song. So technically it could be a mnemonic, kind of.
I'll take the technicality. And don't worry, we'll make Taylor beatbox at the end for reparation.
How dare you?
For those of you who
right.
are like, wait, why? It's because Jesse's the beatboxer and he's gonna have to sing. So, woo!
Heyo.
Woohoo! All right. Tony, do you want to start us?
Sure. It just depends whoever wants to go first. Rock, paper, scissors, which will make great radio. Maybe Jessica, you'll give them the play-by-play. Right.
Rock, paper.
Wait, hold on. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot,
Rock,
right?
paper, scissors, shoot. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, very
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
Jesse won. So, Jesse, would you like to go first or second?
I would like to go second.
good. All right, then Taylor. Here we go. Jessica, is the clock ready? Metaphorical and or literal.
I am the Jessica Block clock.
Patent. We have a patent on that.
Oh.
TM.
All right, Taylor, your word is friend. We're starting off simple.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Da 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 da. I don't know the words.
You got it. We'll take it. So
You have a point. There you go.
Yeah.
that's a point to the Taylor. All right. You ready?
No.
Okay, your word is sing.
Huh. Wait. Bro. Wait. I'm freezing up here.
No!
I literally can't think of a song.
Well, that is the 10 seconds. I'm so sorry.
That's gotta be in so many songs.
The one that comes to mind for me is the one from
Sing?
Sesame Street.
I was thinking of Dream On.
I was thinking of
Sing with me, sing for the year. That one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I
thinking
just thought
sing
of
by
the
Pentatonics.
Next time, won't you
there's
sing
time
with me?
won't you
The ABCs would have counted. The ABCs.
That would have
I
worked.
just thought of that though. It took me like 30 seconds.
It's okay. It's
All right.
always easier with these to like
Slow.
watch it afterward and be like, oh, I could have thought of that. But in the moment, it's like
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
brain freeze is real.
So much pressure. High stakes.
All right, so we got the scores 1-0. Taylor is up.
Woo!
Your second word, Taylor, is darling.
What?
I thought one.
And that is 10 seconds.
I
Is
still
there
can't think
like
of
a steal feature on this game?
There is not a steal feature, but we might think about adding one. But I mean, honestly, you'd still be tied if there was a steal feature.
Oh my darling Clementine.
Hey.
Darling,
I still have
take
0
me
points.
into your loving arms.
I was thinking about that.
Oh my gosh.
The only song I could think of when we put that word in, or when Tony put that word in yesterday, was the like Lulu, skip to my Lou, which is like such a weird song to think of. Skip to my Lou, my darling.
I was like sort of thinking that, but like, it just didn't.
All right, that means we have a chance to tie the score back up.
You can tie the score.
Hype.
The word is morning.
Oh shit. Sorry. I know a song. I don't know the melody, so I'll try. Early in the morning when we're starting out. Da, 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 da. It's like the Beach Boys. I don't know what the song is called. I just know that's a part of it.
Let me see if I can get the name for you from the internet.
It's like it's either like surfing safari. I don't know. It's some beach thing.
Is it Surfing USA?
It might be Surfing USA.
Let's see.
Beach Boys morning.
It's early in the morning when we're starting out is the line.
Early in the morning when we're starting out. Early in the morning when we're starting out. Let's see what comes up. Vanity Fair, early in the morning? No, Beach Boys.
No.
It's Beach Boys,
Beach Boys.
yeah. Surfing Safari.
Safari.
Yeah.
Surfing Safari.
You got it. That's a point.
Yeah, let's.
I don't know that part of the song. I only know the chorus. I feel
Oh
like.
well.
You know? But hey, you knew the verse, which is good for you, man. That's
How could I?
Thank you.
How did I think of 3 songs with Morning and I couldn't think of 1 song with Darling?
I mean, I feel
It's
like
okay.
Morning is more used than Darling in my mind, because it's like, you know, like Sunday morning, rain a falling, like easy like Sunday
yeah.
morning.
I like that
Why does
song,
everyone
yeah,
like Sunday
better.
morning so? I mean, it's.
I was,
Like, it's fine.
Holy day.
I was thinking
Wake up in the morning feeling like
Oh,
he did.
Okay, Taylor. You have a chance to pull back ahead. The score is currently tied. Let's see if you can think of a song, sorry. Let's see if you can think of a song with the word tiger.
It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals.
Love that. That is a
very
point.
good. All right, they've gotten a little bit more niche, as you can tell. All right. Score is 2-1. Let's see if you can tie this up so we can go to a tiebreaker round. The word is, or not. We'll see what happens. You never know. Your word is, pause for effect, photograph.
It's Nickelback. Look at this photograph. I don't know the notes. I haven't even heard the song. Like I've only heard the
Look at
the
this
vine that's like,
graph.
look at this graph. But I know the song is called Photograph. Look at this photograph.
Always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I once watched a Vine compilation that was just everything that rhymes with photograph, like photoshopped into that, like a one frame. Look at this giraffe. It was great. It was wonderful. I found way too much joy from that. But Tony, you know what this
All right.
means?
I do know what this means, but tell us anyway.
This means the score is tied. So we must do a tiebreaker round. You will each get one more word.
5 seconds.
On
The
the clock
stakes
this time.
are raised. And if no one gets it in 5 seconds, then we'll just throw our hands up and call it a tie. But we want this to be challenging and fun and exciting and all of the above.
So we're given the same word?
No, you're each given a word just like before.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Or we
something
could
head-to-head.
give them the same word and see who gets it first. What do you think, Tony? What's more exciting?
Oh, okay. I thought it was like
What
head
do y'all
to head.
feel? Challenger's choice.
Well, I would like to win. So I would not like there to be an opportunity for a tie.
All right. I think that means we're going to
That's
pick
true.
one word.
One word. All right. Jess, I'm now the ticking TV time bomb.
So you're
Also trademark.
are you saying you're making me choose which word?
Yes.
All right. 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 Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So,
Hey,
the word that you guys will have to see who gets the song first for. That was the most eloquent sentence ever. The word is airplane.
Can we pretend that airplane in the night sky is like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now.
That's the only song Tony and I could think of.
I was
We were like, maybe we should make it like any flying type thing, because we could think of songs with jet plane and
Yeah,
songs
we
with
could-
plane, but not airplanes besides that song.
Just like anything you'd find in an aerospace museum, we probably would have allowed.
Sky.
That's such a bop.
It is a bop.
All right, Taylor, that means that you have won Youthphonics Mnemonics, and as a bonus round, you get to give us a bit of a beatbox example.
Okay. Alright, let's go. We go.
Hey, oh.
Jesse, how do you rate that?
You can't see it, but he
gave
just
a
said,
thumbs up.
thank you. Very good radio.
Thank you.
I was going
gave
to
a
say
thumbs
something
up.
like, you can't see it, but he just completely fell off his chair in excitement over how good that was. But then you clarified, so,
A bit of exaggeration for the fans.
well, you know.
I have some feedback.
All right.
I think if you're beatboxing on like a really bad microphone, put your mouth like that you don't care about, like a headphone mic or something. So you put your mouth really close to it so it clips and distorts, and then it like sounds less like its mouth sounds. It won't necessarily sound good, but like when I like first started beatboxing, it was like not really good. I would record on like a flip phone, and it would sound like really cool because like the recording was so terrible that it like sounded electronic.
We love using technology's shortcomings to our advantage.
All right. Well, thank you so much for humoring us with that game and for the wonderful beatbox exhibition that we had well displayed. Before we get into like the wrapping up everything, we're coming up towards that end of the podcast. So this is just a small segment. If you guys want to promote anything that you guys feel deserves a bit of a shout out, it could be, hey, we're planning to do this in the future, or check us out on these social medias. Those are all open. If you guys have anything that you want to do for a personal brand, or just literally anybody you want to shout out, this is the time to promote yourself. Go.
Yeah, just follow us on Facebook, Youthphonics, and follow us on Instagram at Youthphonics. So that's all I could say.
Also, check out our YouTube. We got a throwback medley on there. I think they played that at the beginning. I think it sounds good. Maybe you'll like it.
Yeah.
Youthphonics.
Oh yeah, be sure to
YouTube.
follow our YouTube channel. We'll be coming out with stuff soon enough.
Yeah, we'll be doing things. We don't know when, but
Definitely in
we
fall
will be
quarter.
doing them.
So be on the lookout in fall. We'll be releasing some music, hopefully.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us on this podcast and telling us a little bit about Youthphonics. A lot of groups that we've had here are very ICCA focused, or and so it's been a refreshing new take that we've had, being able to talk to you guys and hear about the way that you have taken acapella and and how you guys are showing a different side of acapella culture and really giving back to the community. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Cool.
Thank you guys for coming. We just really enjoyed talking to you guys. You're a great group of people.
Us as well. And
Blushing.
what?
Yeah.
We too.
We too.
Awesome. While we're on the subject of thank yous, we would also like to thank my family for waiting this long in the podcast to get their shout out.
Our performance psychologist, HSM, for reminding us that we are soaring and flying, and there's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.
And of course, our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Join us again next week when our guests will be the Octopodes from Johns Hopkins University.
This has been Tiger on the Block. Remember to treat those vocal cords right.
Try out that riff you've always wanted to try.
And chug a ton of honey.
And chug a ton of honey.